The two bizarre numbers, and I showed you this before we got on here, not the average list price, that's right about where it's been, but the average sold price last week. How's it going? I'm Christopher McGee. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate, associate with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 9th of September, 2024, and this is the numbers and the nuance. And with me, I've got my friend Doraldinho.
Howdy.
Howdy. My man is, he's right now studying to take the licensure test as a real estate agent. We're talking seriously about having him be a buyer agent on my team. And so I wanted to start including him in these videos. You know, he's not a real estate agent yet, so maybe he'll have some of the same thoughts and questions that you might have, not being in the industry like I am. Dude, if he has questions, he's just gonna stop me in the middle of whatever I'm talking about and ask a question. Maybe that'll be good for you guys.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. And again, this is the numbers and the nuance. This is where you come every week in order to know exactly what's going on in Utah's real estate market. This last week was pretty much as we'd expect it to be. Trends generally going as they've been going. Inventory continues to come up, and that's good. And other than that, we had a couple of really outrageous numbers. It didn't make sense unless you know what all the numbers really mean. So we'll take a look at what those are. And as always, we'll look at the charts. So inventory, check, mentioned that's still on its way up. The two bizarre numbers, and I showed you this before we got on here, not the average list price, that's right about where it's been, but the average sold price last week was outrageous. And what that does is makes another number look outrageous, the difference between average list and average sold price. Last week, average list price was about 650 to 53K, right around where it's been, okay? Average sold price was like 1,800,000 something thousand. Jesus, right. And what that does is it makes the difference between average list price and average sold price, which for the entirety of this year, average sold price has come in around 10K under average list price. Now that number is pretty skewed. And what you've got to understand seeing that number is that it's not representative of the actual difference between what homes are being put on market for and what they're selling for. Because these are two different groups of homes, okay? We're looking at a group of homes that was put on the market last week. Of all the homes that were put on the market last week, here's their average list price, 652-ish K. Of all the homes that were sold last week, here's the average sold price, and those are not the same homes. So we're not saying, here's the homes that were put on the market and here's what those homes sold for. That's not what the difference between these two numbers is. So normally it's a really helpful kind of zoomed out view of what direction the market is going in. But this week, we've just got this bizarre anomaly because of the 400 something homes that were sold last week, 45 of them were over $1 million. And the highest price one was like $5.6 million. And so that just really skews the average sold price for 1 week. And that's wild to see.
Why do you think it just happened so randomly?
I think the answer to that is perfect randomness. I do think it was just totally random because for a solid year, the entirety of from January to now, for the average to be roughly 10,000 difference between list price and sold price, I think we've just had an anomalous last week where there were a lot more homes of a higher list price that got sold. I don't think it's time of year. I don't think it's anything that happened in the market. I don't think it's because interest rates have been moving. I don't think it's because inventory has been going up. I don't think it's for any particular reason other than the random chaos of what happened to land this week. That'll get more obvious when we see that next week this number jumps right back down to where it was.
What if it doesn't come down?
It'll come down. It'll come down, yeah. And I mean, hold me to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing these videos and making those charts and keeping that data for over 2 years, and I've never seen that. And there's absolutely nothing in the market to indicate that that's like a new normal. We'll see next week. It was a total crazy anomaly. Okay, so let's go over the charts. Let's look at the numbers. So inventory as of today sits at 11,131. That's up from the previous week. And I'll just say, we haven't had inventory this high. I don't think since before COVID. It's really good for our inventory to be this high because as interest rates come down and as demand comes up because interest rates are coming down, if people are buying homes at a rate faster than people are putting homes on the market, then eventually our inventory drops. right? And when it drops to too low, when we have high demand, that's what caused the craziness of the house prices through 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Do you think it will happen again?
Ever? Yes. Anytime soon? No. Precisely because of what our inventory is like now.
Okay.
In 2020 and 2021, inventory was as low as like 1,500 homes available throughout the entire state of Utah. And like there was the whole summer of 2021 was like 1,500 homes available, 2,000 homes available, 2,200 homes available, back to 2,000 homes. That's why prices were as insane as they were. Average days on market right now is 47. That's down by just a day from the previous week. Last week we had 48. Trending down across the last few weeks, but I think across the last few months, this is trending slowly up. And I expect it to continue to trend generally up. Average list price, like we said this last week, came to $652,931, down from the previous week, trending, if anywhere, the tiniest bit up, but pretty darn stagnant throughout the last couple of quarters, as you can see. Now, the average sold price last week, as we said, was the wild $1,818,444 was the average sold price. And like I said, 45 of those homes were over $1 million, 10 were over $2 million, and there were a few over 3. There was 2 over $4 million, and one of those 2 was $5.6 million. And so that skewed our list versus sold difference, and that difference came to $1,165,513 in the seller's favor. Do I think this is going to continue? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is a 1 week wild anomaly. We'll see next week. Number of homes sold last week came to 424. That's down pretty significantly from the prior week, significantly lower than our trend line on this graph, as you can see. Number of homes currently under contract comes to 4,958, which is down by 1 from the previous week. So that's pretty much where it's been. That's been on its way down for some time, as you can see on the chart, but you'll also see on the chart that that downward incline has slowed. It's a very moderate downward trend. The number of times last week that a home seller dropped their asking price was 1,180 times, down just a little bit from the week before. This has been trending up, although across the last month and a half, it's not trended up strongly, but where it came from at the beginning of the previous quarter to now, it's making it look like that's trending up pretty strong. The number of homes, or rather the number of listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn last week came to 332, back down from last month, from last week's 500, whatever it was, because last week was the first reporting of the month, and this number always spikes at the first of the month, and now it's back down, but we can see that this is moderately trending up over the last couple of quarters. And finally, interest rates for a 30-year fixed conventional loan now stand at 6.27%, down from the previous week. All right, that's it. If you've got any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. And if you or anybody you know is looking to buy a home or sell a home in Utah in the coming months, reach out to me. I hope you're comfortable doing it. I'll be happy to work with you. And of course, as always, if you'd like to stay educated on Utah's real estate market, there's not going to be a better way than to hit that subscribe button and be educated with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this week, guys. We'll see you next time.
This is